Count money, man. Stack riches. Try and told him I'm a beast blood.
What's up, gang? Welcome to another episode of the GRINDcast. Get ready. It's a new day. We got Big Perm in the house.
What's happening, y'all?
Been a long time.
Yeah, man.
We got you back.
I'm back.
Back in action.
I'm
back
here.
in the
Let's go.
studio. And we got somebody special.
I know.
We got Spencer Kozej in the house. 21-year-old phenom.
Come on.
Our number one sales producer in our whole organization.
Wow.
Made over $250,000 this year conservatively. It's probably more than that, but over $250,000 at 21 years old.
21?
Keeping it all together, still walking in humility, helping people.
Come on.
Work ethic still strapped up. You know, it's one thing to be good for a month or good for a week or hot for a quarter. Stayed hot all year long. You know, just kept winning awards. We just had our annual recognition meeting, and he just was working, getting his cardio done.
He was getting it done. He was like DJ Khaled. Another one. Another one. You was out there, man.
Up and down the
Up and
stage
down.
multiple times. And it seems like yesterday I met you and we were downstairs in Greg's office, me, you, and Bernsdorf, you know, talking, and he was introducing me to you. And I remember when I got out of there, you know, I pulled him to the side, and I'm like, man, I think
that's it.
I think your cousin's going to be special, bro. I think he's going to be a stud. After 16 years of doing this, you know, I try not to judge because I'm, you know, now even for you having a couple years under your belt, almost year and a half, you know, you've probably seen some people shock you that you thought would be good and they're not. And maybe somebody that you didn't think would be that good and they end up being. So, but man, really, I got a good grip on this thing now. You know, I really can feel like I can usually pinpoint if somebody's going to really crush it. And that was definitely true, you know, with you. And coming out of you know, I think you were going to junior college at the time. What were you doing at the time when you got introduced to us? Community college or
Community college, yeah. But I was about to check out and go to the military because I wasn't really feeling the college.
Wasn't feeling the school thing.
Not at
you
all.
knew that for sure.
Yeah.
So you went to high school, and how was that? What type of student what was your high school career like?
High school career, not a very good student as far as grades go. GPA cumulative over the 4 years was like a 1.8. Not because of a lack of smarts, more just a lack of focus and effort to the schoolwork. So I didn't really try to get good grades. My focus was more on like having fun and doing other things outside of school.
Yep.
So not the best student, but other than that, you know.
So 1.8, you know, probably nobody would have expected. And what high school?
Shaler High School.
Shaler High School. Nobody would have expected, you know, here's the guy that's going to go out there and be more successful than everybody in the school. Because that's probably a fair thing to say right now, is that probably everybody that you graduated with. I don't think anybody probably made $250,000 last year. So here's the most successful person, you know, thus far in the school with the 1.8 GPA, goes to community college, you know, doesn't know what he wants to do. No school's not for him, was going to go to the military. And then what happened?
And then I was juggling going to the military or doing the life insurance because Mark Bernsdorf, who was an MGA at the time, he's my cousin.
Come on.
He was always telling me, like, dude, you should do what we do. You don't need a college degree. You don't have to be school smart. You just have to work hard. And he knew, like, I worked hard going to the gym. So he was just pushing me to come join for, like, 2 years until I finally committed. And I wish I would have joined earlier, but I think I wasn't ready mentally and mature enough wise at the time. So I think the timing
What were you, 20?
When I first started?
Yeah.
Just turned 20, yep.
Just turned 20 years old. Beautiful. So what made you make the leap, and what did your parents feel? Were they upset with you? Most kids, when they start, if they're young here, their parents are usually mad. Usually don't support it. How did that go?
So I was juggling, like I said, military and this for a while. School was completely out of the question, especially because it just started going virtual when COVID started. So that's when I was officially like done even showing up. And just being faithful and spiritual, I prayed about it a lot. Like prayed, do I go all in on a military position or do I go all in with Mark? And it's actually a crazy story that I don't really bring up much, but I was in my basement working out and I just had something tell me to like just go upstairs and start reading this Jesus Calling book that I always had. And usually when I read it, like I would just kind of skim through it, not really pay attention to what it's saying. But just like I had something speak to me. It said, go upstairs, read the Jesus Calling book. I think it was like April 10th maybe. And it was like, whatever you do, this one specifically was like, whatever you do in life, as long as you have Jesus by your side, like, you're fine, you're protected, nothing to worry about. And like, my big thing with moving to Florida was I was a little bit worried, like, you know, just the worry you would have moving to a different state, starting a new career. But I read that, ripped it out, put a note like in my phone. It's still in my phone to this day. Like, I think Jesus just spoke to me. This is going to change my life. It's like the first note I have in my phone.
Wow.
Ripped out the passage. It's next to my bed down in Florida. But that's when I was like, all right, I'm just going to commit to doing Florida. Like, I made an inside my head commitment to going to Florida to do the insurance.
Right then and there.
Right then and there. No question about it. Mark still thought I was going to fold, but like in my head, there was no folding. And that's when I made the commitment. That was like 3 weeks before I was about to move. And I didn't really tell anyone I was moving, not even my parents, till like a week before I actually did.
And when you did, how did that go?
The move, like, or telling my parents?
Did they support it? What did they say?
So I kind of threw it at my mom.
Little different, at least, because you had a cousin in the business.
Yeah.
But how did it go?
I threw it at my mom kind of as like a joke because I just wanted to test the water. So I was like, hey, just so you know, I'm moving to Florida in 2 weeks and I'm selling life insurance and I'm done with school. And she was kind of just laughed it off probably, if I remember correctly. And then like it's a week goes by. It's like a week before I'm actually moving. And I'm like, hey, just so you know, next week Mark's getting a U-Haul. Like, I'm really going to Florida. I don't know if you believe it or not. And then she, like, I think she knew I was serious, so she got pretty upset and probably just very worried. So I think she probably cried. She definitely cried a bunch before I left. And my dad, super conservative, always wanted me to just be independent. Probably, you know, didn't really worry about how. He just wanted me to be an independent adult. So he supported me. I don't know if he supported the full-on 100% commission, but he just supported me saying, like, you know, if you're going to be independent, I support you.
Right.
If it
Growing up.
Yeah, just growing up, as long as you're out of the house, he'll still be proud of me. So he took it pretty well. My mom was more concerned and worried.
Gotcha.
In the beginning.
And the rest is history.
In the
Yeah.
beginning.
rest
And
is
actually,
history.
I think I told my
They're
mom
probably shocked right now of
yeah.
what's going on.
I think so. But I told my mom originally, just to ease the pain, I was like, yeah, it's just an internship for the summer. I'll be back to community college next fall. Don't worry. But in my head, there was obviously no going back to community college. That was just to soften the blow for her.
You know, one of my favorite authors is, you know, John Maxwell. I quote John Maxwell all the time. And, you know, one of his quotes that I like, that it has a lot of truth behind it, is that the secret to a person's success can be found in their daily routine. What is it in your daily routine that you think has brought you, you know, success? What does your daily routine look like and your schedule typically look like?
It's typically pretty consistent, and I learned this from you. And growing up, I honestly learned it from my mom too, because she's been doing this without me even realizing until I took a step back and started learning it from being in this agency. But just mind, body, spirit in the morning. So for me, it's God first. So as soon as my eyes open, I try to grab my phone and start reading the Bible app, because I keep the Bible app on my phone. So as soon as I open my eyes, first thing I do, roll over and hit a chapter of Proverbs, just like you taught me to do. Before I was doing a Jesus Calling book, but now I do the Proverbs and the Jesus Calling book.
Come on.
I'll take notes on that, send them around to my team, send them to, you know, people that aren't even on my team. Like, there's this kid that lives up in Pittsburgh, and I just know he's rooted in faith, so I send it to him too, just to, like, spread the word.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Then after that, I'll typically hit the gym. So roll around to the gym at like 6, 6:10, 6:15, somewhere around there. Hit a workout, probably work out for about like an hour. Sometimes if I'm doing extra, maybe an hour and a half. And then straight from the gym, typically pretty much every day, straight to the office. And then I'll read 10 pages of a book. My favorite book so far has been the Grant Cardone, Be Obsessed or Be Average, but I switch up books every time I finish
You know, that's
them.
what I got the rookie MGA's
Yeah.
reading. So you'll have a leg up on everybody.
I love that
with
book. I already read it like twice, so I'm ready to go again. But then after that, typically it's going to be about 8:45. I'll eat some food. And then from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. at least, just American Income Life calls or appointments or training someone or recruiting someone.
Grinding it out.
Yep.
You know, it sounds like
Come
that
on.
book, Be Obsessed or Be Average. It sounds like, you know, that has a lot to do with why you're not average. It sounds like you're just zoned in and,
right.
and obsessed. You know, that's the stuff
Great
that
thing to
people,
do.
they look at, man, I'd like to be like you. But
Yeah.
the key is, can you do what he does
Right.
with that level of consistency? You know, you
21.
send me those messages, you know, every morning. The the scripture and what you're going to work on and what you grab from it, and and all of that stuff. And I think it's critical. What would you say to people that ask you about that level of quote obsession, or maybe why do you like the book Be Obsessed or Be Average?
I like it because there's part of it that says like a lot of people are obsessed with things. Sometimes it's just not the right thing. And for me, like before coming to Arias Agencies, I was obsessed with fishing at one point. Like when I was fishing, it was all day, every day. That's literally all I did. I was obsessed with going to the gym at one point. But in the book, it taught me like once you can find the right thing to be obsessed with and go all in on it, that's when, you can go from average to the next level. And I think for me, coming to Arias Agencies, I can make money here. I can develop my faith here, better mindset. So that's like the perfect place to be obsessed. And I'm already an obsessive person. Like once I find something I like to go all in on it.
Latch on.
So it's not hard to be obsessed with this because it's getting me everything that I've ever really wanted.
I think, one of the questions I get a lot, is talking about balancing family life and balancing life and all of that stuff. And really the edge, the thing that I would give to people, is if you're in the middle of it, I can give you there's other ways that I can massage it in, but really to be real with people, I think the best way to create balance for yourself is to create imbalance, is to get imbalanced in order to create the balance, that you want. It would almost be like, hey, if I'm, 300 pounds and I want to get down to 200 pounds.
Why you talking about big people?
I might be I didn't say
Come on.
450 down to 350.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. It was just in my mind. I apologize.
Big, sexy, big perm over there. Looking fly today, perm.
Appreciate you, man.
Come
you
on.
always do, too.
Look at him.
Come
Health, wealth, and wisdom.
Let's go.
See that on the jacket?
Yeah.
Yes,
let's go.
So I think, like if you went we need to get from 300 to 200 pounds, you need to get obsessed to get there. I mean, we need to just cut everything, go super hardcore, consistent with your workout routine, cardio, if you want it to happen. And then once you get to 200, to maintain 200, you could start to have a little bit more freedom and flexibility. You can eat some food that you want. You could have, maybe not have to cut completely every single thing. Once you get that first initial 100 pounds off, to keep that isn't as bad. Like even for me right now, I've been cutting weight. I got to get under 170 for this tournament. And, I'm pretty much already there.
Yeah.
I'm at 175 right now. I cut down 10 pounds already. And now I feel comfortable. I can eat a couple things and still have this weight off in the next 3 weeks. But to get down here was a SOB.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so to get the balance that you want one day when you do want it, it's by going all in right now. If you go all in, that allows you to build this infrastructure of people, build this infrastructure of business, to where now you still got to work hard, but it's a different working hard. It's not the exact same type of working hard, and it creates this leverage for you to be able to even have more balance in your life, to be able to enjoy, certain things. And and then what happens is people will look at you with that life of, you'll see Matty D, you'll see Justin, you'll see some of our top dogs that have built things, already, Brody. And it's like, man, that dude's living the life. I mean, he's just making tons of money, ain't making any sales, gets to go home whenever he wants, picking up his kids from school every day, working from home, and makes $1 million, a year. Man, that's the job that I want. But if you look at what those people did and for how many years they did it, there's those shirts that, people got is, you ain't about that life, or are you about that life? Or, are you really about that life that creates that type of life, long term? Did you ever think that, at 21 years old, that when you were looking at, say 3 years ago, at 18 years old, did you ever envision, 3 years later, you'd be making over $250,000?
Not at all. Honestly, my vision when I was like 16 was just figure out a way to make 100,000, like 6 figures, that 6-figure line. by the time I'm like 40. So no, I really didn't think I'd be making that much money.
Way
at
ahead of the
21.
game.
Yeah.
Way ahead of the game.
Way ahead of the game. Wait till you see where you're at by 40.
Yeah.
How do you keep it all together and stay humble? You know, because you know the people could look at you on Instagram and think, oh, he's not really humble,
right.
because you'll see pictures of you in front of your what was a cherry candy apple red Range Rover before you painted it matte black or whatever.
Yep.
And you got a duffel bag, you know, with Louis Vuitton bag and a bunch of cash in your hands. And, you know, it's really that's for the fun of it, marketing wise. It markets what we do and catches people's eyes and, you know, for recruiting. And really, you know, it's a great thing because once you catch their eyes, the people that come in that are actually after the cars and the money, what they end up getting is their spirit developed and they get their mind developed and their life gets better balance in those areas that they probably ain't going to have many young people telling them, hey, let's go to bed tonight, you know, at 10 o'clock and let's get up tomorrow at 5 o'clock and let's pray together and work out together and go to work all day and, you know, and stuff like that. So you're really attracting people to lead them down the right path. What do you think has helped you stay walking in humility? Because I've watched people that have success at a young age not be able to keep that stuff together. What any tips or tricks or secrets or how you've been able to keep it together?
I would say just being rooted in faith and having great mentors that have taught me to like stay humble. Because before I came here, if I would have been making money and everything like that, I probably would be flexing for the wrong reasons. Like you said, the Instagram, I do post a lot of expensive-ish stuff for people my age. And it looks like bragging, but really like
red bottoms.
The true, the true reason for it is like really every single person that it attracts and comes to our team, like Jake Taylor, for example, he said the only reason he came in is because he knew in high school that I was an idiot, and I bought a Mercedes for my first car, and he thought if I could do it, he could do it. So he came in for the money and the Mercedes with like a rusty relationship with God, but like. Now that he's in, I brought him to church, and like he is fully faithful, like goes hard with his spirit, leads his whole team that way too. So like the real reason of it is to bring people in, show them how to make money and lead them to God. Like that's the whole mission. But learning to stay humble, learned it from you, Simon. And this is the quote I was trying to remember this morning, but you always told me those that humble themselves will be exalted. Those that exalt themselves will be humbled. So I just try to live by that, and anytime I get a chance to speak or anything like that, I try not to brag or boast or exalt myself. I try to keep it humble just because knowing that's what the Bible says, and that's what my mentors have taught me, so I'm just going to listen to it.
Proud of you, man.
What's up, man?
How would you say, you know, faith has played a role in building your, you know, business and your agency?
I think one big way is faith has always taught me not to worry. Like Jesus and God always tell you never to worry about anything. Everything's God's plan. And I tie that in with what Mark has taught me and with Greg and Justin and you is you never get too high in business, never get too low. And like same thing, like if I get too low, I could worry. And if I get too high, I could worry, what if this ever stops? So like never worrying about anything, just trusting in God's plan keeps me even keel. So I think that's played a big role in the business world too.
Can you see why I try to encourage people to develop in those areas and how it can play a role in the overall game?
Absolutely, yep.
So many people don't.
So many.
You know what I mean? It's like they don't get it. They don't get it.
Different.
But you get it. You get the secret. Why do you think people your age don't have the discipline or end up having the success that you have? Because I think one thing that sticks out to me, you know, in regards to why you've had the success that you've had is your discipline level of being able to do some things that typically people wouldn't want to do, you know, and doing them anyway to the best of your ability.
I think a lot of people my age might not have that just because they're unaware of what it can do for you. They don't really have a mentor that's taught them that stuff. And they really, in my opinion, and just the way I was before this, like, I had nothing to be disciplined about. Like, I was kind of just going to school, and I wasn't passionate about it. So, like, why would I wake up early and hit the books if I wasn't passionate about actually getting good grades? So I think a lot of times people just don't have anything to be disciplined with or passionate about.
Reason why?
So there's a lot of times they just do other things like go to the bar or waste time and waste money doing things just because of lack of direction education on different opportunities that are out there. That's my opinion.
What do you think are some of the traits of people that you found are successful in specifically in our business? You know, what are some of those traits that you think people have?
Competitive for sure. So like if you see someone doing better than you, instead of just getting down and out, you just get like a little chip on your shoulder. You quiet up a little bit, not talk too much, and just go to work. So competitive for sure. Everyone says it, but coachable. Like Noah Von Gunden, who's on our team, super coachable. Anything you tell him to do, he's doing it exactly the way you tell him, not questioning it, not making up his own way. So hardworking, coachable. And then I would say a big one's just consistent.
Consistency.
Consistent and trust in like in the numbers of how our business works. Like make the phone calls consistently. Don't just do it for 2 days and then go party for 2 days. Like do it every single day of the week, no matter what results you get, just keep doing it.
Huge. Isn't it a blessing when people are coachable?
Yeah.
So many aren't. Isn't it like just
follow it.
breath of fresh air, you know, when people are actually coachable, because you're just trying to coach them to do what's going to get them the result, you know, anyway. But a lot of people ain't coachable. They don't want to listen. Probably more people don't want to listen. What would you say you like most about the agency, you know, our agency, our team that we've built together?
I mean, the culture is amazing. Everyone's got the same mindset as far as positivity and getting better with mind, body, spirit. One thing I really like is just how like it's always about opportunity unlimited. But like literally, if you want more money or if you want a nice car, there's nothing holding you back. You can go recruit more people to have on your team. You can make more phone calls. You could, if you really had to, just go in the streets and start picking people out to sell life insurance to. So like you're in complete control of how much money you make. And if you don't make as much money as you want to, you can't blame anyone else but yourself. And I really like that because it's 100% gamble on yourself, which I like.
What do you think were some of the biggest obstacles or hurdles that you've had? What do you got, a year and a half in the game now?
Year and a half, yeah.
About a year and a half?
That's it.
Crazy.
Year and a half.
That's it. Think about that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Year and a half, bro.
Seems a lot longer.
Imagine
honestly.
where you're going to be in 5 years, in 3 years, if this is what a year and a half looks like. Because you had to start from the bottom and learn everything from scratch. So now you already got a base.
Right.
Now you already got momentum. You already know what's going on now. Imagine the next year and a half, you know, which you can put together. But what were some of the obstacles, you know, that you could think of or hurdles?
So the biggest one I can think of was my first ever personal recruit was my best friend from home, like best friend from 5th grade through 12th. And he came down, and long story short, it didn't work out. He ended up he's no longer with the company. So that made it harder for me to get the trust of people up at home to be like, hey, you should still come down to Florida and work with me. Because then they're just thinking, well, you did that with your best friend. And if your best friend can't do it, how am I going to do it? So I had to overcome that and build my trust up back with people back at home. And the way I overcame it, I just kept doing my thing, going hard, kept taking my shots, trying to recruit people. And Jake Taylor came down, and he's still here, and he's been killing it.
Crushing it.
So that's helped build the trust back up. And now we have a whole team of people and a whole team of examples that people can look at, like, you know, maybe it didn't work out for my boy, but that's just God's plan. It just didn't work out for him. It can still work out for other people.
No doubt. No doubt. I can't tell you how many people in this business that I've found that may be in that situation. You know, they were recruited by somebody, and the person that recruited them is no longer here, but they are a legend and been with the deal, you know, for 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, you know, whatever, and had a lot of success. So, you know, regardless of what business you're in out there, you know, I think I would say you can't let somebody else's success or lack thereof dictate your opportunity to see clearly what your vision is, because 100%. It doesn't always, because somebody else can't jump high doesn't mean you can't jump high. Because you know somebody else that couldn't do something doesn't mean that you can't do something. You know, I think that a lot of it comes with being open-minded, you know, for whatever reason, you know, people in the world are trained more to be closed-minded, whether they know it or not. It's like people are taught and trained to be only closed-minded to if you're trained to go to school, get an education. If you don't go to college, you're already you're like a misfit.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Something wrong with you. Oh my God, did you see what he's doing?
Oh no.
But when you look at like a lot of the most successful companies and people in the country, you'd probably point to at least a third to half of the most successful people in the country didn't graduate, from college. But you're looked at already as like you're bad,
Right.
If you don't do that, if you don't walk in that box of what people think it's supposed to look like. And then if you bet on yourself, and you don't get a straight salary, and you don't go into something where it's a straight salary position, then you're crazy. You're different. You're way off. And and I think that it's not for everybody. It being this or anything else is not for everybody. But I think that overall, I will teach my children to be open-minded, to just be open-minded. I've learned to be open-minded about things, of looking at it from a different perspective. Everything that I approach, looking at it from a different perspective, somebody else's perspective. Don't just study the failures, study the successes, and try to make my overall decisions based on, all right, let me study not what one person did. Let me see what some of the people that didn't do well. Let me see what some of the people that did do well, and focus on, a lot of those. I think so often people will focus on people that don't do well in whatever it is and discourage themselves versus looking at the people that did do well and telling themselves that they could do the exact same thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Perm, what do you think about what you've seen out of Spencer? Do you think he has 6-pack abs?
No, listen.
12.
We were at the rec. I seen what your video did.
At the recognition meeting?
Yes, recognition meeting. I seen what you did. You had to take your shirt off. I heard all those. Oh, Spencer!
There's too many shirtless shots. I didn't know there was that many in there until it was done.
You're super big, bro. You're super cut up.
All ripped up.
And the last time me and you got together, we were where?
Getting pedicures down in Florida.
Oh,
come on, right?
Yep.
I forgot about that.
How was your feet?
They felt good for a week or two. Had to get them
Got
done
them
again.
toes
Got
right.
them toes done. I wanted to go back on a question. How does your parents feel about it now? That when you first started a year and a half ago and they weren't really all into it, and now, what are they saying now about it?
They definitely love it. My mom loves that I found something I can be passionate about because she knew I really did not like school. So aside from the money, she's just happy that I'm happy with what I'm doing.
And how about your dad?
He's quiet. He doesn't say too much, but I know he's happy that I'm independent. So
Come on.
I'm just
What
glad
are you
that he's
driving
happy.
now?
Paying your own bills.
Yeah, you paying your own bill. What are you driving now, bro?
It's the Range Rover.
You still the range?
Yeah,
Matt
but
Black.
I want something
I like
new,
it.
but I just want to be smart with my money, so I'm
Stacking.
holding off.
Just keep stacking.
Yeah,
Keep saving.
How
Keep
you like
saving.
that weather out there?
it's amazing. It's a lot better than the cold.
That's
Right?
Yeah.
Come on.
Spoil you a little bit.
Come on. Yeah, it did, man.
I know a year and a half in, man, I still was in a position of like, I don't want to say fear, but just like, is this really the way my life is going to go? This can't be the way my life is going to go. Like even a year and a half in to the game,
Yeah.
for me, I was looking at it and I'm like, this can't be, is this really the way my life is going to go? And it's that healthy fear though. It's like, well, you don't fear anything. You just trust in the Lord. But Proverbs chapter 1 says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And so there's a healthy fear and there's a bad fear.
Right. Right.
I feel like I ended up with that healthy fear that kept me straight of like, I'm so scared to mess this up right now. I can't believe this is the way life is going right now. I'm not about to blow this going out partying, getting DUIs, over drinking, over sleeping in, over all of that. Let me give back. Let me give some of my money away because the Lord's watching right now with all this he's blessing me with. I want him to know that I'm going to keep on recycling this and giving it to other people. And I know you've been the exact same way. You've been giving of yourself, giving of resources, correct?
For sure, yep.
What does that
10%
look
to
like?
the church every single week.
10% every week. So a lot of people, would say, I want to do what you do, but to follow the plan that you follow, it's almost a bulletproof system. If they have a decent level of passion and a decent level of talent, and they're 100% coachable and just follow the plan and the routine the way that you've laid it out, more often than not, people are going to have an astronomical amount of success. But what looks sexy, on the outside is what's creating that is the stuff that's not sexy when the lights are out, of waking up when that alarm clock goes off and sticking to the discipline of doing what you want to do and giving away your money. People don't want to give away money. People don't want to give away 10%. People don't want to give away nothing. No. You know what I mean? Well, when I get to this level, then I'll give more. It's typically what people would do. Exactly. When I get here is when I'm going to get more, versus you having that level of faith. And awesome, what I love about it is it's not like, what can I get back from it? You know what I mean? It's not like, man, I'm giving to somebody that I can get something back from, or I'm giving to somebody that I can, let me give it to this charity so they do something, for me. It's like, man, let me just give and trust in the walk that I'm currently on. And, man, I just want to say great job, man. I'm really proud of you. I'm really encouraged in the direction of where our organization is going because of people like you, young people coming in, giving them somebody that they could look up to, and giving them something that they could admire, and that'll form their life on the right track, has a lot of power, man. One person to influence somebody in the right or wrong way can make or break somebody's whole trajectory of their entire life.
100% true.
And you have no idea of the impact that you're going to make on people's families, just people that don't even have a family yet, just 10 years down the road, because of the leading by example, giving them somebody to look up to. When they look up to somebody, if you were at the club all the time, hungover constantly, going to strip club all the time, doing all these types of things, what do you think people that admire you and look up to you are going to do? They're going to do they're going to do similar things and walk down that path, and think about how that can impact and set up their life, and one turn could change their life. But when you look at what you're doing in the way that you're walking, man, I just really want to give you a lot of credit and tell you just continue to keep doing what you're doing, because it takes an extreme amount of focus and discipline as a young person to be able to handle it all. My new thing, for people that I'm going to go back to, is the thing that my mentor taught me, Jim Arias, which is not every man can carry a full cup. When I would say, man, it's hard. You know what I mean? It's hard, or I'm young. How come I can't be 22? I'm only 22. I'm only 23. Yeah. He would say, not every man can carry a full cup, man. And people want to be a grown man, until it's time to do what grown men do. So you're doing that, currently 100%. Right now. It's not that you can't have fun. I want you to have fun. I want your people to have fun. But I think just the path that you're on and the way that you're leading people, man, is something that, as a parent, I would want my kids to grow up and have somebody like you that they could follow and impact their life. Because, at some point, the kids don't want to listen to their parents. No. They want to listen to their peers. That's right. And to lead people down that path, man, is super special. So I'm excited for you this upcoming year. I want to call your shot, and put some pressure on you. Me and Spencer got a thing going on right now that my first year of leadership, I want him to beat it this upcoming year. And I think he's somebody that has the potential to do it. Nobody's ever done it. Nobody's ever done it before. Oh, man. And typically I do it to humble people, that think they're great. I say, here's my paper. Here's my first year of leadership back in the dinosaur ages. Back in 2006. That's back in the day, This is 2006, No, man. GPS. And he's going to break it with inflation. Come on. 3 to 5% a year is inflation. Let's say 3% a year is inflation. So he has the first 12 months, and he's going to go against those first 12 months, and he's going to break it, and we're going to celebrate. So come on, man. How would people follow you, man? If people are inspired, they have the sons, brothers, cousins, young people that want to follow somebody that could lead them down the right path. How can they follow you?
Definitely check me out on the Instagram.
IG,
it's Spencer.Kozej, Kozej. I try to stay active.
Kozej.
J. Yep.
Spencer dot Kozej.
Yes, sir.
That's the best place to find you.
Definitely.
Is on IG.
Yep.
Okay. And then I just want to throw it out there. I haven't been, I'm going to start doing this. I don't know if Logs, you've been plugging this in at the end of some of them, but people oftentimes, man, I'm getting messaged a lot, DM'd a lot, you know, can I get some time with you? How can I get some help? You know, and so we made a mentorship program for people a couple times a month where the guy that recruited me into this business, mentor of mine, partnered with me, and we created a mentorship group for people called Cash Money Mentoring. So if you know somebody that needs some mentorship for less than a pair of tennis shoes,
Right.
You look at what people are getting for Christmas gifts, or you get somebody for a gift, you spend a lot less money on something that can impact their life. And so we created a way that we can mentor people in all different walks of life, all different businesses that are just trying to progress in life. So if you know somebody that needs some help mentoring, head over to cashmoneymentoring.com, and we look forward to serving you. So thanks for joining us on another episode of the GRINDcast. Get ready. It's a new day.